I will be.
You will.
I believe it's in Arizona, and they've asked me to go, and I think I have an obligation to do that.
President Trump confirming that he will attend the funeral of Charlie Kirk. A manhunt is still underway for the 31-year-old political activist assassin after the shooting on Utah Valley University campus Wednesday. The president says police are making big progress and that he has an indication of the killer's motive. The FBI, meanwhile, is releasing new photos of a person of interest, and police say that he fled into a nearby neighborhood. They also recovered a discarded rifle in the woods. Now, this video shows a person of interest jumping off a building after the shooting. This is at the university. The FBI offering a $100,000 reward for any tips leading to the killer's capture. Now, the president also announcing he will award Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor. Watch.
Let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd, very, very big.
Joining me now is former Trump Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. I'm really looking forward to talking to you, KT, because one of the things that you mentioned about with the assassination, the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, is that this has national security implications. Explain.
You know, China and Russia have been going around the world for the last decade saying that America can't govern itself, that the future belongs to them, to autocratic authoritarian regimes, not to democracies. Democracies are dysfunctional in the modern age. I mean, look at America. They're really almost at a civil war with each other. And this reinforces the idea that America and democracy and capitalism aren't suited for the modern times. Now, that may sound like a minor psychological issue, but remember, after World War II, the United States was economically, militarily, morally the leader of the world, and that's what's at question. And then the second point that very few people have mentioned, Charlie Kirk not only influenced at a distance millions, but he had a huge friend group. He texted with hundreds, if not thousands of people on a regular basis. So the implication of this has shaken the leadership core of the country to a significant degree. So I do think that there will be national security implications, because I think this is a hinge moment. I think we will all, there will be a before and after the Charlie Kirk assassination. I think the United States will behave differently.
Well, and let me follow up with you on that. We've already had some lawmakers on set that we've asked about this, but, you know, there have been reports that on Capitol Hill, within the White House, cabinet officials, that there are security concerns, renewed security concerns for the safety of those, even though they have Secret Service, even though they have their own private security. Congresswoman Ashley Hinson was on with us last hour, and she said that she just had a discussion with some of the sheriff's officials in her town. You know, these are people that are going out, and we want this to continue. This is why we're free in this country. This is America. We want to go out and have face-to-face discussions, and they want to go out and speak with their constituents, and they want to go to sporting events and be around people. Do you think that that's going to change? Do you think that there is enough worry that we are going to change our behavior, and should we?
Remember, Charlie had a pretty significant security detail with him, and was probably, you know, privately paid for, but he had about as much security as most people in the public eye could possibly have, other than Secret Service protection. You know, I think that this could cut both ways. On one hand, some people will think, well, you know, I really don't know if I want to go into that crowd of 3,000 people, because who knows who's out there. On the other hand, somebody like me, who has said, look, I don't really like those debates. I really don't enjoy being somebody's punching bag on the far left, is probably not that smart and wants to take me on a national security issues. I actually am going in the different direction. I'm saying, put me out there. I want to continue that debate, because that's what democracy is all about. Changing people's minds, and the only way you do that is with debate.
Yeah, Brian Holyrood, who's actually a young conservative and was really good friends with Charlie, he said the same thing. He said, we're going to be out there more. This is going to have the opposite effect. Yeah, I do want to ask you about some global issues, KT, because Qatar's prime minister is going to meet with Secretary of State Rubio at the White House later this morning. And this meeting is after Israel's strike in Doha, which targeted senior Hamas officials. The prime minister says that strike killed any hope of the remaining hostages being released from the Gaza Strip. President Trump clarifying Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acted alone in the decision to strike and that he was very unhappy about it. Here's the president yesterday.
How do you think Israel's attacking Doha will affect the hostage deal?
Well, hopefully it won't affect it at all. We want the hostages out, and we want them out soon. Hopefully it won't affect it.
New Fox News poll showed 55% of voters side more with the Israelis in the Middle East conflict. 41% side with the Palestinians. Now, that support jumped 9% since March, while support for Israel has not wavered. 43% also say the U.S. is about right in its support for Israel. 35% say we're too supportive. 21% say we're not supportive enough. KT, your reaction to this as these reports are coming out of Israel, that the Israelis, just in a nutshell, realize they're never going to get a deal with Hamas and that we have reached the end of the road?
You know, that's what's significant. The Israelis have concluded that there's no negotiating in good faith with Hamas. They're never going to negotiate a solution to this. They're never going to do so. I think that's why Israel has taken the action, particularly in deciding, OK, we're going to wipe out Hamas. And as President Trump has said time after time, Israel, finish the job. Just do it quickly. And so I think that's why they've gone to the point of assassinating and killing terrorists in other countries. Israel will track down and kill anybody who kills Israelis, no matter how long it takes, no matter where they are.
Before you go, I've only got about a minute left with you, KT, but I need to ask you about Vladimir Putin and Russia. NATO right now is on high alert after Poland shot down multiple Russian drones that flew into its airspace. And President Trump is reacting to that as well. Watch.
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end. I hear that what happened, as you know, where they were taken down and they went a little berserk. But regardless, yes, I would condemn even for being near that line. I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. That whole thing, I'm not happy about it.
Well, you know, KT, Poland's deputy prime minister says that was not a mistake. Your reaction?
You know, this is the Russian technique, and it's been going on for 15 years. It's called salami tactics. So the Russians will do something that's, you know, maybe explain away, or maybe it wasn't quite what happened, or maybe they've used little green men, you know, Russian provocateurs who are not wearing Russian military uniforms on the border of Russia and another country, and then they can deny. It's like a plausible deniability. I think in knowing President Trump as I do and listening to his tone of voice, I think he's getting to the point where he's losing patience. And at that point, he's going to have to make a tough decision. Do we do the really severe trade and economic secondary sanctions against the Russians to either force them to the negotiating table or take away their income so they can't pursue this war?
KT McFarland, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right.